Greek officials are racing against the clock to come up with new proposals to present to their international creditors ahead of an urgent meeting on Athens' debt crisis. Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras had a meeting with 3 senior ministers on Saturday. He also canceled a visit to France to hold more sessions with his cabinet before a year's own summit on Monday. Meanwhile, Greek Finance Minister Yanis Varoufakis called on German Chancellor Angela Merkel to make a clear decision at the summit in Brussels. The emergency meeting comes days after talks between Greece and its EU IMF lenders in Luxembourg broke up without results. Athens' second international bailout expires on June 30. That stricken country has to reach a deal with its creditors to escape default. Konstantin Venizelos is our correspondent joining us from Athens. Konstantin, how's Greece doing? Are we getting any closer? Are you guys getting any closer or not?
Good afternoon, Carver. Well, it depends. We have information and we know that Greek officials are preparing to introduce minor new elements to the proposal tomorrow at the EU summit. Basically partially updating some grey areas of the proposal. We know that this might include the early prohibition of retirement schemes, of early retirement schemes, that is. Perhaps they will propose lowering the threshold on which corporate profits are taxed. Minor addendums, we call them, that are unlikely to satisfy the country's lenders' demands. They still insist that Greece must proceed with severe cuts in pensions, wages, and, of course, increased VAT hikes. Of course, this week and the past week, billions of euros have been withdrawn from Greek banks, and the government is practically, realistically speaking, facing a cash liquidity crisis unless it can secure a top-up of emergency loans from the ECB and, of course, a deal before June the 30th. Now, Jeroen Dijsselbloem, the head of the Eurogroup, said yesterday that it's probably too late for Greece to obtain these bailout funds before June the 30th. So there is a lot of fear-mongering at the moment, especially, on the one hand, on a European level, this comes from the Troika institutions, the ECB, of course, the IMF, and the European Commission. But domestically speaking, it is the banking sector which feels most threatened, which, of course, is now explicitly mentioning a prolonged bank holiday. Last week, ECB officials were worrying that tomorrow or Tuesday, over the next 48, 72 hours, Greek banks might have a problem dispensing cash. So Tsipras has only a few choices here, really. He can either continue to kick the can down the road, as critical observers say, and propose some sort of extension of the current agreement, at least for a few months, to tie the country over during the summer, and of course to most importantly buy some time until the Spanish elections in September. This is a highly crucial agenda for Tsipras. He wants an ally, a like-minded ally in Europe. But there are pressing realities on the ground here. And of course, Greeks are worried that there will be a prolonged bank holiday, Cyprus style, here next week. But it all depends. Tsipras and Merkel at the moment are the only European leaders who appear keen to strike a deal. Everyone else is preparing for a Grexit or a Greek default, as far as they say. Of course, the scenario of a Grexit has become also a hot topic at the Federal Reserve in the US. Officials there say that a Grexit will be catastrophic not only for European, but it will also have severe consequences for US economy also. So, Carver, we are bracing ourselves for tomorrow evening, and surely we are following this, and we're keen to see exactly whether the Greek government is going to compromise or continue this stance of resistance, might we say, and insistence in pursuing its anti-austerity portfolio.
Thank you very much for that. It's good to talk to you. Konstantin Venizelos, a correspondent there from Athens.